The old house creaked. Dust motes danced in the pale light. It was an inheritance, unexpected and unwanted. Among the dusty furniture and faded portraits she found it, a mirror, ornate and cold, hidden in the attic. Its surface was not glass, but something dark and deep. It seemed to swallow the light, not reflect it. An inscription snaked around the frame, barely visible. Time does not fly, but it changes. It felt wrong, powerful. She should have left it, covered it. Instead, she touched its surface. Her fingertip tingled. The air grew cold. In the mirror's depths, something stirred. The mirror rippled. Her reflection wavered, then shifted. It was her, but older, happy. A man stood beside her, his arm around her waist. They were laughing, a beautiful house behind them, a vision of her future. She pulled back, breathless. Excitement warred with fear. The vision was so clear, so real. Was it a possibility, a choice, or a certainty? The inscription echoed in her mind. Days passed. The vision lingered, the warmth of the sun on her skin, the sound of laughter. It was a seductive poison, the promise of happiness. She found herself drawn back to the attic, to the cold, seductive allure of the mirror. She stood before the mirror, her heart pounding. This time she wanted to see more. The vision shifted, swirling. This time she saw a celebration. Balloons, cake, a child's laughter. Her child? The vision faded, replaced by darkness. A coldness seeped into her bones. She stumbled back, a wave of dizziness washing over her. The inscription on the frame seemed to burn into her mind. Looking in a nearby hand mirror, she saw it. A single silver strand glinted in her hair. A small price, she thought, for a glimpse of such joy. The mirror, however, remained silent, its surface dark and unyielding. The price, she would soon learn, was far greater than she imagined. The mirror became her confidant, her addiction. Each vision, a tantalizing glimpse into her future. She saw triumphs and failures, loves found and lost, the birth of her children, their laughter echoing in the grand house from the first vision. But there were shadows too, the lines on her face deepening with each viewing, a glimpse of the same man from the first vision, his face etched with grief, standing at a grave. Her grave? Each vision left her weaker, her body aging prematurely. Yet she couldn't resist. The need to know, to control, consumed her. The mirror held her captive in its web of foresight, feeding on her life force with each stolen glance into the future. She would spend hours, sometimes days, entranced by the images that danced before her eyes. The mirror showed her not just moments, but entire lifetimes, each one more vivid and consuming than the last. She saw herself growing old, her children leaving, her husband fading away. The mirror's visions were a double-edged sword, offering both hope and despair. She saw herself achieving great things, but also facing insurmountable challenges. The weight of these visions began to take a toll on her mind and spirit. She became a prisoner of her own desires, unable to break free from the mirror's grasp. The more she looked, the more she lost touch with reality, her life slipping away one vision at a time. Section 5. The Mirror's Grip. This is the tale of a woman and her relentless obsession with a mirror that held more than just her reflection. Years, it seemed, had passed in a handful of reflections. Each glance into the mirror felt like a lifetime, a fleeting moment stretched into eternity. Her hair was now more silver than brown, a testament to the passage of time and the weight of her curiosity. Lines etched themselves around her eyes, her mouth. Every wrinkle told a story, a memory of days gone by. She looked older, felt older. The mirror reflected not just her image, but her very soul, weary and worn. The mirror had taken its due. It demanded a price for every secret it revealed, every future it showed. She saw her children, now grown, their faces blurred, their features shifting. The mirror's grip extended beyond her, touching those she loved. The future, she realized, wasn't fixed. It was a canvas, ever-changing, painted by the choices she made and the glimpses she stole. It was fluid, changing with every stolen glimpse. Each reflection was a ripple in the pond of time, altering the course of her destiny. Her interference, her need to know, was eroding the very fabric of her future. Panic welled up. She had to stop. The more she looked, the more uncertain everything became. But the allure of the mirror, the need to see what lay ahead, was too strong. It called to her, a siren song she couldn't resist. It was a drug, and she, the addict, desperate for one more hit, one more glimpse into the swirling chaos she'd created. The mirror's grip was unyielding, and she was ensnared, lost in the reflections of what could be. Section 6. Withering Beauty. One day, catching her reflection in a shop window, she gasped. It was a moment of stark realization, a moment that would forever be etched in her memory. Her youthful vibrancy was gone, replaced by a gaunt, almost skeletal reflection. The lively spark in her eyes had dimmed, leaving behind a hollow shell of what once was. The woman staring back at her seemed barely alive, her eyes hollow, her skin stretched taut across her bones. It was as if life had been drained from her, leaving only a fragile remnant. The price of her addiction was etched onto her face, a cruel parody of the beauty she'd seen in her first vision. Each line, each shadow, told a story of choices made and paths taken. The laughter of her children, the warmth of the sun on her skin, felt like distant memories, bartered away for fleeting glimpses of a future now out of reach. Those moments of joy and innocence seemed like they belonged to another lifetime. Despair threatened to consume her. What had she done? The weight of her choices pressed down on her, suffocating her with regret and sorrow. The inscription on the mirror mocked her. Time does not fly, but it changes. It was a cruel reminder of the irreversible passage of time and the consequences of her actions. She had not outrun time. She had traded it away, piece by piece, for a handful of fleeting illusions. The realization hit her hard, leaving her to ponder the choices that had led her to this moment of reckoning. Section 7. The True Reflection. She stumbled back to the attic, her reflection a ghost haunting the dusty mirror. This time, she didn't seek joy or love or the fleeting warmth of the future. She looked for answers, for redemption. The mirror showed her nothing. Only her own ravaged reflection stared back. The inscription seemed to throb. In that moment, she understood. The mirror didn't steal time, it made you spend it, recklessly. The visions weren't glimpses of a fixed destiny. They were possibilities, their edges blurred by her interference. The future, she realized, was not hers to see, but hers to create. And she had wasted precious time trying to control what she couldn't. Section 8. Shrouded Future. With a strength she didn't know she possessed, she tore the heavy velvet cloth from its stand. Dust billowed, choking her, as she draped it over the mirror, shrouding its dark surface. She would not look again. The house felt different, lighter somehow. The future was once again a mystery, terrifying and exhilarating in equal measure. She walked out of the attic, her back straight, her gaze clear. Life, she now knew, was not about knowing what lay ahead, but about embracing the unknown. The future, once a tapestry of stolen moments, was now a blank canvas, and she, for the first time in a long time, was ready to paint.